Hi, so I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit more about Adapteq, which is the engine behind ProSocial, and why it's so awesome. Um, I haven't shared very much about it, but it is a cognitive architecture, and I'm going to create a series of a few different videos just to talk about what cognitive architecture is and why I think it's going to be super useful to help drive conversational AI, and in particular conversational AI interfaces in the future. So this is my local pizza chain. I live in Snoqualmie, Washington. This is Frankie's Pizza. This is not their actual website. This is just a rip image of their website. So note, this isn't, I'm not affiliated with Frankie's. I just wanted to use an example from my hometown. And what I've done is I've created a chat widget here that is an AI, a generative AI chatbot. And you'll see it says, welcome to Frankie's, let's get your order started. Kind of typical chat stuff. Old school conversational AI might have like a preset set of options that you can select, but obviously with generative AI, we can type whatever we want, and we're all used to that. So I'm going to go ahead and type, let's get a large pizza order going. So I've given a size, and now the chat is going to respond. It says, great, would you like a signature pizza or create your own? So the chat knows what a signature pizza is. This is from Frankie's menu, which I did add into the prompt. So nothing fancy here. This is kind of typical generative AI stuff. And where it gets super cool is on the left side, I've added a little peek beneath the hood. And I'm going to use this example, and I'm going to break it apart into a few different videos to kind of show what's happening here. So the first thing to note is that I have some classification that's happening at the utterance level. And I'm looking at emotion, intent, cognitive depth, or you can also think of that as complexity, perspective, which is the user's perspective or mindset, and that could be fixed, expanding, or neutral. And then I'm also classifying whether or not the user has created any self-disclosures. And that is running in the back end to capture memory. And I'll talk more about that in the next video. But I think that's just sort of point number one, is with the cognitive architecture, we're taking the open-ended chat environment of a language model like ChatGPT or any language model, and we're applying heuristics or rules to the way that the LLM interacts. And so the first step in that is to get some kind of fixed or classical modeling applied to the utterances or the interactions with the LLM. And so this is using traditional machine learning classification models driven by what are called mass language models, MLMs, but they're similar to large language models, and you could use language models to classify here. I just prefer not to because it's faster and cheaper to create smaller models to do this kind of classification. But if you wanted to, or if you had a really complex scenario, you could use language models to add the classification directly to the response. So that's kind of step one is, we're adding heuristics, we're adding a layer of rules to the classification itself. And I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to create a series of other videos on this just to kind of break it up a little bit so this isn't an hour-long presentation. But yeah, that's part one.